Good evening, welcome to VP4 TV, and we're back here on Sunday evening for the third instalment of the challenge match between Semipro and MC Clarkey, or Matt. And it originally was planned to be a race to 18, but you should know by now you can't do a race to 18 in VP4. It doesn't allow you to. I have got the room set up. It's a private room, so you can only watch it on the stream. Good evening to Mal. And I don't know whether this is... I think this has got to be the final session because Semi-Pro's got a wedding to deal with. And I also don't know whether they're going to make this a race to 10 because the match at the moment after 2 sessions is 8 frames all. And I've got it set to 10, but we will wait and see if Semi-Pro arrives. I believe Matt has been in the lobby. I presume he's still there. And we're waiting to see if Semi-Pro arrives and get an agreement on what we're going to make this to before we start. It's been a story of where Semi-Pro has had good chances to win frames but has been careless and let Matt back in. Semi won the first session 5-3. Matt won the second session 5-3, and that's how we've ended up at 8 frames all. The plan is to get this underway at the top of the hour, so we just wait on the arrival of both players into the room and then we'll get some decisions made, find out where we're going. So we had the second match in the Cribbage World Championships. Matt has arrived into the room, and it was a much shorter match than the first match we had streamed last night, the one that lasted over 3.5 hours between Sylvia and Bankster. We had the match this afternoon between Matt himself. He's had a 2.5 hour match against One Pocket Slim earlier on this afternoon, which he lost by the odd couple of racks. I think it was 15-13. Semi-Pros arrived in the room. Let me just check with them. I'm just asking, right, set to 10. I'll put the two of them in. Normal foul in this. I think that's us pretty much good to go. Let's see if we can get it on the screen. There we go. So it's actually given Semi-Pro the break. He'll pass it to Matt. And I've actually got it as a set to 15 frames because I think that's what the plan was. So now I don't know. I presume we're playing to 18, so it's going to be the first to 10, being as it's 8 all. So let's see if we can get some good, strong, and tactical snooker going tonight. Semi-Pro in first. Should be able to just drop through the gap. He's stuck to the rail, so he can't do much with the cue ball. And presumably the black is going to spot, and it was on its spot, so it's available. And now he's going to go for the break into the back of the pack. And this is not always the best place to be going into the pack. You've got to hope you get a roll. Well, he's got red into the middle pocket, red up the table. And he's got a few loose reds as well, so if he can get this and get on either the pink or the blue or the bulk colour, it won't matter. He should be able to get a few points here by the look of it. And I think certainly in the first session, Matt got in first and got, I think he did a 60 odd break or something. I can't remember whether Matt got in first in the start of the second session, but certainly this is the first good scoring opportunity that semi-pros had right off the bat. Now he looks a bit straight in this black. He's got an angle just enough to work with. He looks as if he's coming back and a rounding out for that red just below the pink as we look. Well, he's drawn way into that there. He's got into it far too much, but I think he might have got away with it. He's got away with that big time. Now, is that 5 reds, 5 blacks? I think it is. And again, he can drop through for that red. I don't think he can hold for the red. He's got too much angle in the black, I think. I think that's the problem. Looking at the angle he's got. Now again, he's going into the reds. He's not really had a lot of joy. These reds are still clustered, but he's got those 3 loose ones. But now, the question is whether he's going to get greedy and try and get back down on the black. He certainly can do that, but he's got 2 reds to work with, and it'd be handy if he kept on a bulk colour to stay on them and make it easier to get on them. But he's come back down for the black again. And it's going to be harder and harder, especially with the reds still stuck as they are, and those 2 reds being up table to try and keep coming back down for the black if he's trying to keep on the 147, and now it's gone wrong. To see if there's well, there's not any plant on that side, and there's nothing on that side. But it's a good solid start for semi-pro, and he's going to try and keep it going by cutting this in. And he still could possibly. Yeah, I think he's done the sensible thing there. He could have been wild there and tried a really acrobatic shot. But now he's got a chance to nudge some of those reds. He's always got the sort of bailout shot with that red in bulk. Let's have a quick look. Well, he's good now. Now, is this going to be the first century in the match? Good evening to Keith. So the break goes to 70. There's plenty of points still available. There was a chance there of the 147 until he got out of line. But it's all about getting over the line, that's what matters. But I think he's looking for something better than that. And I mean, being honest with you, the way these are set up, he's got to run these out because all these reds are on. He just needs to get rid of the one that's on the left of the black because that's blocking the pocket. He needs to get rid of that one. It's blocking the pocket for one of the reds into it, but obviously the red goes into the other pocket anyway, so it's just how he feels about getting the job done. He may well play for it now, or he could play for either of those two. He's just trying to get into a spot. Well, he's definitely played, I think, for that one. Break goes to 91. And once the black goes in, it goes to 98, and there's still 43 left in the table, so this could be a big 8. And he didn't want that. He didn't want that. And might have to try and drag. He's trying to drag the pace off the cue ball here, and he's played that well. That was excellently controlled. He's now, I think he's okay. He's not hampered that much, but that was well played to get him over the line as far as the century goes. But it ends on 100. So it's a great start for semi-pro, and that's a bit better. That's what I was talking to him about, expecting a bit of more common sense, and that he couldn't have done any better in that first frame, and that gives him the lead. He goes into a 9 frames to 8 lead. So Semi got in first and made the most of it. Now tell me this, guys that are watching, do you prefer this colour of cloth? This is the actual green colour. It's not the default green colour. Do you prefer this shade, or do you prefer the more vibrant green? Because I chose it by accident, and if you prefer the more vibrant green, we'll choose that one. I don't know whether it's... I think it might make a slight difference depending on the lighting that's in each room. Obviously, with this room, there's the light that's basically coming in through the windows, so to speak. There's not any evidence of any lamp above this table. Well, that's got Semi in a little bit of trouble, but he shouldn't have any trouble getting out of it. Well, let's go for the default green. See, that's a bit it's a bit more vibrant. I don't know that I like that so much in this room. I think the other ones are, it's softer. And I don't know whether maybe it's just my imagination. I don't know whether the balls are softer looking as well with a softer green. Yeah, you prefer that one. I tend to prefer the other one as well. We'll go back to that one. Oops, hang on a minute. Not that one. Yeah, I prefer that. It's a bit gentler in the eyes. So, quick look before you play any safety off the pack. The first thing you should be doing is looking at the pack before you make a move, and that way you're going to know whether you're knocking something towards a pocket or whether there's a plant on or something like that. And then once you've done that, then you play your safety shot. This well, there's a good chance of a shot to nothing here for Semi-Pro, because he's obviously playing off the left side of the pack. Well, I don't know whether he fancies it, but he looks as if he's going right side. I thought he was maybe go for the shot to nothing, but he's trying to keep his advantage and keep the pressure on Matt, and he'll certainly do that by playing shots like that. That was excellent. Perfect length, and I think Matt is going to have to go 2 rails. The only problem now, though, is that he can't use this side of the table, which is probably what he'd prefer, to come into the back of the pack that side and guard these reds. Well, that was perfect pace. Just got a feather touch on it. And I don't think he's left anything on. So I'll be happy with that. Trying to get up with the green and brown. Well, once again, it's Matt's turn now, and he doesn't have that red on the right side, although he's got the edge of the red next to the pink. But he could have a go at a shot to nothing and try and get the cue ball towards the green and brown as a sort of safety net, just in case. Well, this is maybe just short of it. Well, it just kept running, and it's ended up in an excellent shot again. Just to the legs to get there. Didn't think it was going to make it, but that's again got Semi fully snookered, and he's just looking at what way to go here. Again, if he goes right side off two cushions, he's the chance of leaving the red to the left of the black. He's trying to go 2 rails onto the last one. I just brushed it, and once again hasn't really left anything enticing here. But it's easy enough for Matt to get himself up the table. He might be trying to just free the black up here as well while he's at it. No, he's gone all out for the pot. Well, Matt's always been an aggressive player. Well, he's got whatever colour he chooses, a tricky colour to keep this going. Now, looking at the angle in the brown, he might struggle to get himself up the table to get on the red that's to the right of the black. I don't think the angle's conducive to doing that. And the obvious thing is he can just try and drop in behind the brown here and leave Semi-Pro in trouble. No reason he needs to go for the shot, because it's not easy to get on a red. Now, he's potted the brown. Is he looking at this plant here at the top? Yeah, he's looking at the plant. Well, this is aggressive. No guarantee he'll have a colour even if he gets it. I don't think I'd be doing this. I think I would have just rolled to the brown and buried Semi behind that brown there. That would have been a more realistic option. This is way too aggressive. He could pay the price heavily here. Even if he pots it, he might not get in a colour. He's given it serious thought, and I think he's thought the better of it and decided he ain't going to do it. This is going to hit the black, and he may well be given the choice again. Now this is a good one, because Semi-Pro's given him the choice again, and Matt this time could well go for the plant. Now let's see whether he bites the bullet here. He's given it serious thought, but I think he's given up that idea. Well, this is not going to get there. I know that straight away. So he's going to get it again. So we're playing to the full rolls here, foul and miss. And Matt then decided at the third time to have a go at the plant. I think he lost patience with himself at the end of the day. He seriously thought about it the first visit he had, thought better of it. The second visit he decided against it, then didn't get to the reds. Third visit he thought, right, well, I'm going all out for it. And now he can be made to pay the price. That black, I think, goes past the red. It certainly does. So he's got the black available. Pink is available into the middle and the corner pocket as well, so he's got points to make here and colours available. Looks as if he's going to have to come down table, the angle he's got there, and he's overcooked it slightly. He's okay though, I think he can still get to the blue. Now, he could well, looking at this shot, he's looking to drop through far enough, and has he gone far enough? He's got the one right in the middle of the bunch. And this is a tricky shot, because you don't know how you're going to come off this second red. And he's actually taken the other red. He's straight on that one, but you just don't know where you're going to end up. Well, again, the cue ball's running loose. And now it's, again, he's got an easy safety with the green and brown, but he's got a straight in pink, and just has to roll it in and drop through for probably either the red to the left of the black or the one below it. But he doesn't want to go right onto the cushion like that. That wasn't in the plan. He's now having to cut the one into the middle. Those two there aren't a plant into the middle. They're not set. And that little bit out of line there, having to cut that in, has caught him out. So the break ends in 20. The lead's reasonable enough to start him off in this frame. But Matt will be looking for a response. Well, that's one that's got away. And I think Semi can come back for the pink or the blue. It just depends how much he gets into this. He's actually just gone a wee bit more again. Now, taking the blue. He's looking possibly for the red at the back of the 3, or the back of the 2 there, that one there, or the one above the black. Again, the only thing is he's fairly straight. He's got a slight angle. I think he can stun this firm and still be on the pink if he wants it. Well, he didn't play that. He played the draw. I think he could have played the stun and got up the table there. Maybe not. He'll know better because he's down in the shot. This is a testy one. If he's looking at the black, he's got an easier yellow. And plus, don't forget there's a red in bulk as well. Well, it's going to be another testy red to keep this visit going. Not got this cue ball under control yet. But he's got a 40-point lead, so he's just looking to build on it. Stay at the table. Well, now he's back in shape, in that he's on the black. He's got the angle to, well, either just drop onto the back cushion there, or either those two reds or come back up for the reds to the right of the pink. Well, that's a strange shot. I don't know what his plan was there. It certainly cannot have been to play the baulk red. I think he might have been looking for a hit there and he missed his line. But I don't think he needed to actually do that. I think he just needed to stun that in and come back. for those two reds to the left of the pink. It looked like that from this angle, but anyway, he's managed to recover again, and he's pretty much over the line. And that red will secure that. 51 left in the table and 60 in front, including obviously the pink. So this is a good solid start for semi-pro. Matt had his chance there to at least get himself back in the frame. But the first two frames are going to semi-pro. And he just hasn't gone quite. Well, he's got an angle. He could try bumping this. Well, don't forget, earlier on, Matt has had 2.5 hours of concentration he had earlier this afternoon in that match with One Pocket Slim. But that's the first two frames to semi-pro. He now has a 10 frames to 8 lead. He needs to get cover behind this green, and that's a good enough line, I think. I think it's, has it got there? No, it's sneaked out. Again, quick look up at the pack. Not a lot happening. Well, that's the difference in VP4 to real life. You've really got to get these long distance connections really fine, because these balls will nudge out, and from distance it's a lot easier to pot in VP than it is in real life in snooker. So you've got to get that thin edge really thin, so that ball isn't going to move far, and so you don't nudge something else into play. Miss the blue. So now we're going to get a little bit of safety going on. It's whoever's going to get themselves behind one of those bulk colours that will gain the initiative, or if they manage to have a shot to nothing. Once again, this time Matt is going to have a shot to nothing. He can cut the red. I think that red will squeeze past that one there. And the obvious thing here is you much prefer to overcut it, so that if you miss it, it goes to the railing and comes along the back cushion. But he's not interested. He's looking at keeping it tight. Semi's already got himself warmed up. And that's gone wrong. And that's what I was talking about, getting the thin edge. It's really tough to judge that connection at distance. And now what's Matt got from this? Well, he's got a red, obviously. But it's not easy to hold for the black. He's going to have to run. Plus the fact there's reds in the way, and he was bound to be blocked. But he's got the blue and the red to get going. This is a problem red here. It's in the way. because that would open up access to the black from that side of the table. That's also a problem as well. And of course the pink's tied up, so if you're going to make any scoring in this frame, there's a lot of work to do with the cue ball. And you're either going to overhit it for the blue and end up having to take a bulk colour, or underhit it for the blue. Well, he's freed the pink with that shot, and the pace is good, and he's nice on the blue. Now, what's his next red? Well, it's looking likely that it would have to be the red in the very bottom cushion there, unless he's going to take a hit here and try and get in amongst them. Yes, he has. And the pace on the blue ball, as soon as it hit that jaw there, it wasn't staying in the pocket. Well, I was going to say he's almost got away with it, but that red just above the black squeezes past. And if Semipro could get a nice little hit in the other red, he might have a shot in the blue. No, he's making sure he get out of there. Well, it's a bit messy still. That blue needs to go out the way. And again, the black's not that accessible where it's sitting. That might... well, it should be end of break. But I think with the way the reds are sitting, he's going all out for this green. And this is going to end up one of these regular breaks that happens in VP4, where you end up running up and down the table, just trying to keep the break going, because it's a bit too cluttered around here. And he can't get that blue out the way. Well, he's looking at the black. The black looks very tight. Well, it does go. There's enough room, but he's overcut it. Well, now it's a chance for Matt to get something on the board. Well, let's have a quick look at that blue from this side. See, the blue goes past the red. The shot would be to take that red and try and get on the blue. And if you don't go on the blue, the chances are you'll have a shot in the yellow up table. He's coming away from it. Again, if he pots the black will go in its spot, and it will be available into the one corner pocket. I think he's overcooked that. I think he was playing for the red. I think he can still get it. He's just overdone it slightly. And now we know the blue goes into this other corner pocket. So now he'll get rid of the blue. I don't think he'll take the pink. I think he's going to have to get that blue out of the way. It's just cluttering things up slightly. And that'll make it a lot more accessible for the reds that are there. Well, quite a little test here for Matt to make an impression in this session. Now, can he see that red? Well, he can see it, and the chances are he's going to hit the other red if he tries to pot that one. And now that's a little testy, and he can't see his bailout ball into the middle pocket there. It's covered. So this is, I think he's going to have to bite the bullet and take this on, but I think he needs to hit this a wee bit because he wants to make sure the cue ball comes out of there. And he's avoided the hit in the red, and that's worked out pretty nice. Wrong side of the blue, but no real problems. As long as you pot the colour, you're on the red into the side as a bailout. I think I would have played that to get further up the table onto the reds that's near the pink spot, because that red can always be a bailout if you get out of line. And try and deal with them first and leave that one over the pocket for the time being. But he's not close enough to those reds, so he played that one for a more comfortable shot. So now he's, again, wrong side of the blue, so he's having to run the cue ball. And he just needs to get up the table on the left-hand side, and he's got a shot. Well, he's actually went around the corner, and he's leaving himself a bit more of a cut for comfort's sake in this red. Now he's in shape. And now these reds that are sitting here, these three reds are all there for the taking. The lead is 30 points. So just a gentle roll through. Now this angle in the black, just make sure that you can see the red. And this time he hasn't gone far enough. And this is why I said about leaving that red as a bailout shot over the side pocket. You can obviously cut this down the rail, and that will go in, no problem. But I think it would have been better to have left that one there. Once again, I think he's still the wrong side of the blue. But again, should be a problem. Loads of room to manoeuvre. I think he's overcooked it again. So 43 still in the table. And Semi needs a couple of snookers. And with those two reds still in the table, and if he can get a nice thin edge on this red, this frame isn't quite over yet. He needs to get this cue ball tucked away if he can. The danger for Matt is if Semi has a chance for this red, the one that's behind the black, off the cushion, the one that he's playing, if he has a chance at that any time and can get himself a high colour on it, he's got the chance of a reasonable snooker if he punches that red away that's behind the black and leaves the cue ball there. But now that cue ball's finished behind the yellow, Semi cannot play the red that he wouldn't want, he would have wanted to have played and left that other red up behind the black. So this is going to work in Matt's favour, that this red's going to be moving probably towards the corner pocket. Well, he just caught a feather edge of it. That was excellent. He had to get it as thin as that to stop it squirting along that rail. Well, this time, that makes no doubt. Matt gets his first frame in the board this session, and he's back to within one. And I think Semi will have had enough of that. I don't think he'll be interested in messing about. So, it's now 10 frames to 9 in favour of Semipro. And Semi's got into that way too much. And I think he might be quite happy with the result. Although the red is on. These are tricky to judge when you're queuing right over reds to pot another red. I think that's the only one he can go for. But he's got to get that cue ball running out of there. Well, he's got the yellow, he's got a cut back in the pink. Thing is, if he cuts back the pink, the cue ball's going to run around and come around here. He would need to hit that quite hard if he was going to come right around and out onto that red. But he's going to go up table. So it's the red above the black that he'll be playing for, I would imagine. And as this has got the legs, I think, he's judged that pretty nigh perfect. Well, Matt did have the highest break of the match in the second session. I think it was a 95 he had. But Semi's topped that with his first break of the night, making 100 exactly. Pink's now tied up, so can only work with the blue and bulk colours and the black. That these reds are going to have to be worked around. And that's not the handiest of spots to be left sitting. Now, it could be that he's just playing for the red down the rail and rolling through for the black here, the red on the left-hand side. In fact, he's not even interested. Matt's deciding to play safe, but I'll tell you what, he's left this red to be cut down the cushion. You know, if you're going to play safe, you're going to have to play something that's a wee bit more solid. And again, in VP4, you can get away with playing shots like that. And the yellow's over the side pocket, so there's not a lot to be gained here, simply because the reds are all bunched and there's nothing really on. And he's trying to draw into them. And, well, he's got a couple to choose from now. And Matt now can be punished. And Semi might have another go again here. Just to free them up. He's not been all that successful there. So we can see that red goes, this red goes, the one that's square of the black goes. But now he's run into the black, so he's going to have to duck for cover. And when he goes up table, I think the problem is he maybe need to hit that black thicker if he's going to go to the rail this side and spin it up table. He's hit it thin. He's obviously leaving Matt a shot in the red. But does Matt want to risk something like that? Black's now tied up. Pink's inaccessible. So it's going to be a bits and pieces frame as far as scoring goes. And this is always hard work. When all you're getting is, a red and then a yellow and a green or a brown, you feel as if you put in a lot of hard work, and at the end of it, you get you get very little for it. You can't be winning frames with just reds and greens and browns and yellows. And so Matt's, again, trying to be productive. And once again, there's only the 2 reds going to be available. Well, he's given a bit of study to the pack of balls here, but I don't see anything in amongst them without moving something. Well, this has got to be a safety. Now, if you overcut the red, you've got to overcut this enough if he's going to try and come back to bulk, and he's got to miss the bunch. Well, he's went all out for the pot, and the red's now been left over the side pocket. But even so, I mean, he's got an 8-point lead, but it's just going to be so difficult to make inroads into any score with this bunch of reds. But the one plan would be to try and get yourself onto that pink and be able to take it and run into them. So that's the one objective that Semipro's got here, is trying to get down that right side. I think he's overcooked this. He's fell way too low, and he's more or less on the rail. So again, he'll probably just duck down the table and take what he can get here. Well, once again, there's nothing on, so you've got a perfectly easy safety shot to be played here. Let Matt disturb the reds. That would be my thinking. Let him play off the reds, because there's nothing to be gained for sticking your net out and trying something fancy. That's a far more sensible shot. I mean, that has now got Matt in trouble, and he's going to try and just run into them. I think the green's in the way, as a matter of fact, looking at it. The green looks in the way as far as running into that bunch of balls. He's just catching the edge of the red. That's still safe. And what's happening with my phone here? A quick look. Nothing happening. Sorry, I was busy looking at my phone there. I never saw you come in there, Michael. Welcome. Well, this is planned to be the final session of this match. I've still got it saying there a race to 15, or first to 15 frames. It was originally supposed to be to 18. I think it might be still to 18 rather than 15. Semipro has a 1-frame lead at the moment, 10 frames to 9. On the pink, and looking for some sort of hit here and some sort of improvement. And, well, that'll work. He's got a red. He's freed the other red. So he's got 2 to work with. And if he gets rid of the second red here eventually, he's got the other red that's just next to the black, which will go. And that also frees up the last red. So if he can mind his work here, he's now got a frame winning opportunity. Now, well, he's got a choice of what he does here. He's the wrong side of the blue. He can take the pink, but he doesn't need to try and get into these reds and blacks. He can just run round behind here and come around the other side like that. Perfect. And he'll probably nudge the black on here, maybe not. Maybe, I don't know, sure whether he's going to catch the black or not here. But if he can just run through, well, he's caught the red instead. I don't know that that was in the plan. But it's only a 16-point lead, so a bit of pressure on here to get this pink in. And then he's looking at where the cue ball's going up table as to whether he's going to have a sight on that red should he pot this. And he's decided against it and decided just to leave the snooker, which again is a sensible shot. Rather than sticking your neck in the block and trying to be heroic, he's played the sensible shot. And Matt now is just going to have to hit and hope that he gets a lucky roll like that and leave Semi with nothing on. And has now got Semi in a snooker. So this now could well be the decisive part of the frame. How Semi's luck? Well, I think that red might still be covered. Let's have a look. Well, it's not covered, but it's certainly not getting potted. Yeah, that's whatever you guys are happy with, Matt. It's whatever you're both happy with. But have you? I mean, you still remember that Semi-Pro might not be able to play for a while after this because he's got a wedding coming up. So I don't think he's going to be around. He may well be a wedding and a honeymoon. So it might be quite a ways away before you are able to finish it anyway. But it's not important. It's not a world championship. So Semi with a 16-point lead in this vital red that may well decide the frame. And that looks a pretty good safety again from Semi-Pro. That's excellent because red's right in the middle of the table. The pink is blocking the line, I think, to get to the red from the left side rail. And then you can pick a line off that black cushion up table to try and kick the red that way past the yellow. But that's not ideally easy to judge. And that's how difficult it is. And this needs to stop rolling, but it's now on, so this frame should be over. 16, well, now a 20-point lead, of course, with that foul. Semi's now got the red on. He's got whatever colour he wants, really, here. So the lead's 23, and he just needs the yellow and green to leave Matt needing snookers. I would also like to get the brown if he can, just to seal the deal and leave us in no doubt. But where's this cue ball going? Oh, well, he's got out of jail there. That could have all of a sudden turned very ugly. But the lead is now 28 with 22 in the table. And again, a pretty solid safety shot there from Semipro. Complete snooker, easy to kick behind it, and it's a kick and hope. You just hope you get a lucky roll. But the way the blue and pink are lined up, the target's behind the pink. It's tight to get behind the black. But I think as long as the brown stays on the table, Matt will give it a go. Because you never know what happens. Strange things happen. And that takes away any doubt. So Semipro is going into an 11 frames to 9 lead. And that will be enough for Matt. So into frame number 5. Well, that's good. That's frame number 5, and we've only been playing for 53 minutes. So this is a good pace. The Semipro in straight away. How is he on this black? Yeah, that's too narrow an angle to be having a go at that. I can easily draw back for this red and the black cushion here. And he's got the little angle to get himself back up the table. And he's too straight in the blue. Unless he wants to zip it up and try and get around the corner and get into these reds, that looks as if what he's planning, even though there's a loose red in the side rail. He's had a look at it. I don't think he thinks there's enough there to work with in that blue ball, but there is a slight angle. Got a bit of top and right side on it. Miss the black, get the hit, and get a roll like that. That's worked out very nice. And now he's got a few more reds to work with. Again, the problem is the fact the black's off the spot and the pink's not really going anywhere. It will go into a middle pocket, but it's just a bit untidy. And it makes it that you're always having to manoeuvre the cue ball back up the table to get on a colour. You know, if this was Ronnie at the table in this situation, the first thing he'd be doing would be to try and get that onto that black ball and get it on its spot. Well, that's now changed things because the blues take the hit and the blues right over the top right hand corner pocket, so that pocket's now blocked and Semi running for cover. And now that could also create a problem as far as the safeties go, because now the safety is on the left hand side of the table, avoiding a hit in the black and getting back to ball. Every time you do that, the reds are heading over towards the blue. And unless somebody makes a mistake and knocks the blue in, we're going to end up with a cluster of reds all around this corner pocket up here. That's a classic one in snooker, that. Now that has created an issue now for Matt because he can't get to the left hand side of the table. and he's got a problem in trying getting back to ball. But he can, if he hits that red there thin, he might need to put a bit of left-hand side on it so that when it hits the rail, it straightens it and stops it going into those reds. But he does have an option, but he's not risking that. He's just trying to roll onto a red, and he'll be getting to play that again, I think, unless Semi fancies rolling the red into the middle and either been on the pink or the blue. He might fancy the red into the middle. Is that going to get there? Yes, it is. So the problem is now resolved from the mistake from Matt. I think he should have taken that, the red I was thinking about. It was a tricky shot, but the safety was there to get, but the option was there to try and get back to bulk off that red. The only thing with that shot is you're nudging reds towards the left-hand side, and unless you get covered behind a bulk colour, you're probably leaving Semi in anyway. So it was a low percentage shot that you were going to keep things safe, but there was a slightly higher percentage of getting back to bulk off it. Oh, Semi's taking his eye off that one. And I think he'll be glad he hasn't got any better on a red. I mean, he's left a red format, but it's not easy. Cue balls coming off the rail and back out towards the reds, and he's trying to gently nudge it in and hold for the pink. And he's just overhit it. Very difficult to judge at distance, that sort of pace. And he has to go for the blue because, if he got up table, he's going to leave Semi an invitation on one of these two reds here. So he had to get the recovery shot going. Well, he's trying to roll through and come up to the pink again, but missed the red. Now, I wonder if Semi's got an angle to dig into this and stun up behind the pink, the green and black, or is he holding to the pink? I didn't think he could get a line in the pink. Yes, he can, he's got it, but I was thinking he might try and come up this way and get the black on its spot. Well, that little firm stun has brought another red into play. And the pink doesn't, well, that's handy. The pink doesn't go in its own spot, so it's gone on to the high spot available, which is the black spot. And he can work with that for the time being. That'll do. Oh, they didn't want the hit in the red. He wanted to come past that. I think he's okay, though. The other one's still loose at the back of the pack. Now he needs to be sort of squarish on this pink. And he can certainly catch something here. In fact, that other red goes from the other side. Well, now that the pink spot has been unoccupied, he's now going to have to pot a decent red to stay at the table. Not a problem getting on a colour though, which is handy. But the lead is building up. The lead is 43. I'll tuck the red down the cushion, but again he's going to have to probably leave just a long blue here, because you don't want to start trying to do an awful lot with the cue ball. It's just a matter of potting the red and getting out far enough to have a shot in the blue and taking really what he can get at. So again, with this one, probably go forward and around and come the top side of the red so he can run it down the cushion. It's the only real sensible shot that's there. Gone a wee bit more than he probably wanted. But it's going to be hard work for Matt to find his way back into this. So the lead now is 54. This blue still to count, but only 51 left in the table. So it's going to be tough. He's looking at the brown instead, trying to just keep it tight. And that's what to do. That's how you play match play snooker. Get your points and don't get over ambitious and leave your opponent in trouble so he's got nothing when he comes to the table. That's maybe just going to catch it. I'll settle for that. Now, has he set a plant on here? Oh, this is... Well, it's not set. And he's got to try... Can he see enough of that? Can he get to that red? Oh, he's got to keep going with the cue ball, though. And he's just got there. And Semipro has just squirted out past that black. Well, Matt's playing this with a bit of spin. I don't think he needed to. I don't think he needed to do that. I think he could have got through to that red. It looked like it from where I was looking. Well, that settles the frame. So it's Semipro who's going to have a 12 frames to 9 lead. And well, the pink goes in anyway. Semi doing plenty of apologising, but the frame was already settled anyway, so that takes away again any doubt. And it stops the frame being prolonged for another 10-15 minutes. Well, you know how I was. I mean, any guys that are watching this that was watching the last week's session, I let Semipro know that I was not impressed by the way he was playing. And I'm not saying he's taken it on board, but put it this way, this is 100% more sensible than what I saw him doing last week. Because this is how you should be playing. And he knows that, and I made it clear to him that, you know, you've got to play the game the right way, and it's been a lot more impressive and what's expected of him. You've got to play hard match play snooker, especially when you're up against somebody like Matt. You just cannot be gifting him the amount of frames and opportunities that Semi gave him last week. And he's certainly not done that tonight so far. It's proper grinding snooker that you need to be doing, and at least make the other guy work for it. If your opponent's going to make anything of it, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to be proactive. This needs to miss the knuckle, and it needs to get a nice roll behind that yellow, and it has done. That covers the red on the left side. Quick look up at the pack. And this looks as if Matt's winding up here. And that's a cracking shot. That was excellent. See if the replay is working. I think it's working perfectly fine. Excellent shot there from Matt. Again, not a lot to be gained from it because the way the reds are all clustered, but you know, he's got something to work with. This is just going to drop down too far, is it? Yeah, just overcooked it. Well, again, he could be really aggressive, and he's going for it. And again, he's got a perfectly simple safety shot to get the ball, but he's going all out for it. And Matt now is playing into Semi's hands because that was a really tough red, a blind pocket cutback. You're running into the pack of reds. Now, okay, if he got it, he was a hero because he was on the black. But it was far easier just to bank that red and run for cover with the cue ball. And now there's points here for the taking for Semipro. I don't know whether he played for that red there. I think he played to come up to the red that's parallel with the cue ball. I think that was the one he played for. But he's got a bailout. He's slightly the wrong side of the red, though. If he takes that one into the middle, he could stun into the red and maybe the pink into the other middle pocket. But he's going for the more awkward red. Back across to the black, and he's hung it up. So Matt has got off lightly there. The run is just 24, and no problem in knocking this red in. It's just getting it around the corner and up high enough for the black. And that could have done with coming out there further into the table. He wanted really to be a bit here with the cue ball. I think he might have landed in the pink though. Yes, he has. That's a little bit bonus for him. He's going to have to get into the cue ball one way or another here because this cue ball's heading into the red, so he wants to get away from there and try and get one of these colours up table. And he's misread the potting angle. And the mistakes are coming from Matt. As I say, in his defence, he's had a lot of concentration earlier on this afternoon in that cribbage match that he had with Slim. So There's maybe signs of wear and tear and fatigue. What's happened here? Well, he's got a red up table in the gap, and he's found it. That was well done. And now the reds are sitting not too bad. Big target area to get on a red. You know, anywhere from this line here down to that line there, you've got to be on a red. But where's the cue ball going? Well, that's not where you want the cue ball to be. Now, Semi going to try and cut that red. Now, again, the reason he's doing it is because he doesn't want to come down table and leave Matt that red to roll in. He could be trying to go. I think he's going all out for the cut. It looks like it. That's a good shot. Excellent. Not the shot you would play in real life. You would never play that in real life. You would duck for cover, and you'd be quite happy to leave that red over that side cushion on a real snooker table because you know that your opponent's unlikely to go for it. He'd probably play off it. But VP4 is a whole different kettle of fish when it comes to getting safeties. The only real safety is behind a ball. And already Semipro building up a very healthy lead and looking to settle this frame at this visit. He's already 14 front. And as long as he picks his way through the reds in the right order, the frame will be done and dusted at this visit. Bill looks as if he's having problems getting into VP4. Well, he'll be looking to run this table out here. Again, no reason why he shouldn't. They're all there. He's still got 4 reds to pick off. And looking to get a nice little tidy break going. So still 59 in the table. In fact, there's just enough to make the century, isn't there? I'm pretty certain my arithmetic's almost right. As long as he can take these reds with blacks, I think he can get to the century. Let me work that out now that he's potted to black. So he's on 59 and there's 43 in the table. So that would be like I think my head's spinning round right. So that'll be 67. It's 102, isn't it? There's somebody watching here who can count. My brain's fried. Right, 68, 75, and 27 in the table. So that's 102, isn't it? I don't even trust my own arithmetic. Where's the cue ball going? He's okay. Well, this is a chance for not only second century of the match. Well, commentator's curse has done it. I think he had a bit of inside right on that to check the cue ball, or right English or right side. But it's a run of 75, very tidy. And now he's building up a healthy lead. The lead is 13 frames to 9. And Matt breaking off in our 7th frame of the night, and it's a pretty good break. He's got covered that red on the left hand side. Semi-Pro going one cushion. He's actually he's got away with it. No damage done. But I think if Matt can see that red there on the side, there, that's the one that he can't leave in the open. That one, and he can't get to ball end, so he's only going to try and come around towards the back of the black. And likewise, Semi-Pro this time, he can duck for cover down table and bank the red back into the bunch and get distance. I don't know what other options he's looking at here. I mean, there's nothing set that I can see, and that's a shot to play. And that, well, he hasn't quite got the cover behind the green. He's left Matt. Well, I don't see the benefit of potting the red, because look where he's left the cue ball. But the only benefit he's got is that he can play to a colour, but he's got to play to the yellow, I think, and try and cover this red. Well, he's called the green, but whatever he does with the cue ball, it has to make sure that he doesn't leave a shot in this red. Trying to get right into the corner, and that'll do. But it's an easy enough safety shot for Semi if he can hit it thin and just get that distance, and that will do. These are always difficult to predict where the reds are going when you hit this bunch. Now the black's out of commission as well. So we're going to get a bit of safety going on. And that shot now has prevented Semi from getting right into the left-hand side of that pack. He might just roll to the top of them. I don't think he's got much other choice. And that, I don't think, has got the legs, has it? My eyes are telling me it isn't going to get there. And it hasn't. And Matt now, if he puts them back in, he knows what's going to happen. Semi's just going to roll straight onto the reds. Matt will probably only be able to come off the side cushion back into the reds. He won't probably be able to get back to ball. And Matt can't get to the side cushion. That's actually ended up a good safety. I think he maybe can skim off that one, yeah. As long as he avoids the scratch. Now, a little roll behind the yellow would be handy, like that. And that's now got Semi in trouble. He can't get back to ball. So same again, I think, just a roll into the bunch and not another option on. Just checking these reds to see if there's anything that might go, and there's a chance that something might go. That might be a combo there. But that's it. You need to be brave and probably about 50 points in front before you'd have a go at that. And Semi's under hit it again. Now look at that red. You see how that red's tracking to that pocket? That was set. But nobody was brave enough to have a go at it. But it was definitely set. Right, I'm going to nip downstairs for a bottle of water. I'll be back in a minute. Right, we're back. Well, Novak Djokovic has won his, wrong button, hang on, has won, I think, his, is that his 7th Wimbledon title, or was it his 7th final? He's won 4 in a row, and I never thought I'd see the day where somebody would have the chance of matching Bjorn Borg, who I watched back in the mid and late 70s, get to 5 Wimbledon finals and win them. I never thought anybody would match that, and Djokovic has given himself a chance. And Bjorn Borg's run eventually ended in 1981 when John McEnroe got revenge by finally beating him in the 81 final. Good evening to Cobra. So, from what Matt said in the chat, in the stream, not in the room, Matt looks as if he's going to be settling for the 8 frames tonight. As I might have mentioned last week, Semi-Pro's got a wedding organised, his own, and of course he may well be going away on a honeymoon and that sort of stuff. So when this match is going to be finished, we don't know. But I think Matt's idea is to just do the 8 frames tonight. So we're already into the 7th frame, and Semi-Pro has now got a healthy lead, 13 frames to 9, and Matt has got a chance here to put something on the board. Now I wonder if I've got, if I've still got the, yeah I do, I've got the bracket up for the cribbage championships. Let me just have a quick look at the schedule. So I'm just double checking to see if anything had been set since early this afternoon. So nothing else has been arranged yet, match wise. So the match we're all looking forward to, it's one of many, but I'm sure we're all interested to see how Albinario will deal with Stubb, or rather how Stubb will deal with cribbage. We've all got a fair idea how he'll deal with it, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's going to happen this week. I'll find out at some point if Albinario sent in a proposal to Stubb. No doubt he will do, and Stubb will not respond until probably 4 or 5 days later, and then we'll get all this messing about. Well, the one thing's for certain is that matches can be played a lot quicker. Not any longer than what the Straight Pool World Championships was giving us. We were having easily 2.5 hour matches in that. So the race to 15 that we had this afternoon between Matt and One Pocket Slim went a lot more to my thinking as to how it would go once you get players that are more than capable of producing the goods given the chance. And although we had, the odd bit of safety exchange, I think we had one rack that went about 10 minutes or more, but other than that, most of them went along at a reasonable pace. And the match itself lasted just on or just slightly over the 2.5 hours, which wasn't bad. It's reasonable to expect something like that in a virtual World Championships. Yes, Cobra, you missed the first frame of the night where Semi-Pro was on a 147. He had 5 reds, 5 blacks, I think, or maybe 6 reds, 5 blacks, and then had to bail out. He ended up getting a 100 exactly, And he also, I think was it the previous frame there, he had a chance of another century. He could have got to 102 had he cleared all the colours, but I think he missed the yellow or the green, one of the two. So he's as I was saying earlier before you arrived, Semi's been playing a lot more the way that I would expect somebody like him to be playing, and not the silly way he was playing last week. He's kept it tight. He's been aggressive when he needed to be, and he's been leaving Matt very little. And apart from that, Matt has had chances and he's made the odd mistake. He hasn't fully capitalised on some of the chances he's had. And that's going to catch the knuckle. And he needs a roll, and I think he's almost got it. Not quite. So now again we'll get this scenario with the black over the corner pocket. And that's now going to mean that the safety is always going to be pushing a red towards that black. And this gets interesting when that starts to happen, because we could end up with a stalemate, or somebody taking a big risk or making a mistake and knocking that black in. Well, that's now exposed that red down the rail. So Matt has to get cover, and he has done. So that is a good shot, because now Semi is going to probably have to roll up into those reds and hope he gets lucky, and make sure that he stays in the bottom side of that red there, because that's the only one really that's going to be potted. And that was not a great shot, because he's actually fell right into the trap. And now Matt can pot the red, nudge into the two reds, and stay in the black. And a chance to win the frame. Oh, I think he's gone dead. Has he gone dead? That is debatable. He can cut that in. He's going to have to feather that. Yep, that was always going to be tough. He'd just gone beyond the threshold there, but he's left nothing on. Semi's got away with that one, because Matt, I think he should have, I don't know whether he should have stunned that harder, to try and make sure the cue ball stayed into the table. But he finished just too low on that black, beyond the pot threshold, I think. But how about that for a safety? That is a nice roll of the ball. And of course, Semi could play that roll up to the red there with the assurance that the black's covering the pocket. He was never going to leave anything on. I mean, this red will cut across the table, but this is really ambitious to be taking this on. He's had a go, and he's potted it. That's a cracking shot as well. That was by no means easy, that shot. Now Matt's having a look at the black. Now, even with the best will in the world, there's no way you're getting to that black. So you've got to just bide your time, take what you can get. And again, he's on this red really awkward. But he doesn't mess about. That is still another cracking shot. Those are hard to read, being close like that. And now he's got the black in play. He's working hard to get this frame in the board, get it sealed. Well, I think you've got to take the blue and stun into the gap behind the pink. I think that's a shot. You've just got to stun across and make sure you can see the red and roll it down the rail. And he's missed the blue. Where's the cue ball going? We'll settle for that. That's the result. Well, I mean, he could never have expected that, but that's the little roll of the ball that you need just to keep things in your favour. Semi's got the hit, but it's going to cost him the frame, I think, this time. What's the lead? 41. Yeah, 41 with 35 in the table. So Matt's got his second frame of the night on the board. And according to my calculations and the way Matt was talking in the stream, this will be the last frame of the evening. I don't know whether Semi knows that. I don't know whether he said that to Semi. Maybe he has. But it's going to be 13 frames to 10 at the end of this frame. Well, that doesn't matter that he's missed that. Semi will have had enough of this frame. So 13-10 to Semipro, and this is frame number 8 of this evening, and we are just 95 minutes into the match tonight, which is a good pace to do 8 frames. Well, not quite 8, but 7 and then into the 8th. And that's without a mid-session interval as well after 4 frames. Matt's in first again, although I don't know whether he can get to the black. Let's have a quick look at this. Yes, he can. He can get to the black. I think his worry is that he can't get to a red from the black, where he would be brushing into it, and now he's had a lash out, he's had a stub, trying to pot the blue, and that's given Semi, well, Semi will just roll through for the black, I would think, and if he can get an angle in the black, he can nudge that red out of the way, the one that's hampering where the black's spotting. He'll take care of that now, he'll just back into it slightly and push it towards the pocket if he can. No. Well, I don't know whether that was a shot. I don't know what he had planned there. Was he planning just to leave, to roll one of these reds up the table? Because if you think about it, if he'd potted the black, he wouldn't have had one of those reds up the table anyway. The black would have spotted, and he wouldn't have had anything easy. As it is, the black's on over the pocket and pressure's on Matt to deliver this red. It just caught the knuckle. They're always pressure shots, those, because you know you're going to pay the price if you miss it. And there's a stack of balls here for Semi to feast on. But I don't know that he wants to be potting the black. I think the problem with that is he's tying it up more or less, I think. Let's have a look at where the spot is. Well, we know that the black's available back into the same pocket, but it's this red that's the main bug where it's sitting. And I think he's going to try and get rid of that now. He's doing the right thing. Take the blue, come round behind the red. Oh, he hasn't hit it. He has not hit it. He's a foot and a half short of where he wanted to be. He wanted that cue ball to come there and come to here. I mean, it's far easier to overrun that shot than it is to under-hit it, because you've got all of this area to go on the red, but now he's got it into the side, and now the problem is solved. So there's ways of doing things. That wasn't the right one, just because he ended up short, but he was lucky he still had the red on into the middle pocket. And he's also got a bailout red down here in bulk if he gets into any sort of emergency where he has to take a bulk colour. So that shot that Matt had on the blue, trying to ram the blue in and get into the reds, well, I was going to say it could cost him, but Semi's got himself in trouble here. He's got a cut. Another one of these blind pocket cuts you don't like. But you've just got to have faith that your eyes reading the shot right. And again, centre pocket, not a problem. Now, there's a slight problem here because he's got the choice of yellow into the middle pocket. The yellow, I think, would take him certainly down towards the reds. Whether it's going to take him favourably onto a red, because the reds are not easy to get on. There's one obviously in the right hand side. Semi's just trying to roll the blue in and try and hold for the red, but it was always going to be tough. So now he has a choice. He's had a look at the one in bolt, which is pretty tight to the rail. And now he's looking at cutting the other one again to stay at the table. And it's gone in. But he's just have to work on a recovery shot here to get back in the game as far as control of the cue ball goes. But he's now, as I said earlier, he's got this red to get. He's gone too straight, so he may well just come back off it or stop it and leave the green. Well, he might have been better to do that because now he's in no man's land. He might have been better just to stop there, roll the green in, and get on that red. That looked fairly straightforward. Or roll the brown into the side if we just finished here. Anyway, he's in trouble and having to dig out another pot. And that is going to go in, I think, is it? Yeah, just in the last breath. Caught the jaw. Well, now he's back in play because the pink goes. At least it goes into, well, he's missed a red. So the break ends in 40. And an unexpected miss there from Semipro. So Matt has got, well, let's have a look. Matt's got 3 reds to work with. Well, 4 if you include that one. He's got the black, he's got this red here, he's got that one there that will go, and he's got the other one that's up table. So he's got reds to be working with, but they're not particularly easy to get to. And that might be overcooked slightly. Yeah, he's overdone it. And he's also blocked his bailout ball up table. Well, that's well controlled because it's difficult to judge where the cue ball's exactly going with that second contact in the red. So it's finished nice. Now, he has to be careful that when he pots the pink, that he's making sure that he decides he's going for that red, because if he's trying to hold for this red, it's going to be tricky that he doesn't leave himself awkward on it. And that would be awkward because he's blocked. So he's got the bailout to work with. Now I'm just going to ask in the room chat, I'm asking Semi if this is a final frame. Right, then Semi's now said, is it? Because obviously Matt hasn't said to Semi that he's planning on finishing it at the end of 8 frames. That's what Matt said in the stream. But we'll let them come to the conclusion. So Semi's now snooker behind the black with a 21-point lead, and trying to roll on to the reds, and that is a good result because he's left nothing on. Matt can see the red down table here on the left hand side, but he's well hampered over the reds to do anything with it. He'll probably just push this around the table. The danger is that if he pushes it right around and it misses the blue, it's going to end up in the top right hand corner. Well, he's trying to play the pot, but that was so difficult. Really, really tough shot queuing over those reds. Well, Matt's not said anything in the room chat. Semi was hoping to maybe get this match finished tonight, and I don't know what Matt's decision is now because he's not said anything. Well, that's a mistake from Semi-Pro because he hasn't got the cue ball to the green, and he's been put back in by Matt. Yeah, Matt said he can't play to a finish, as I said, so may as well stick to 8 as per. So it might be a while before the final session of this match. So Semi's been put in again, and there's a chance here for Matt to reduce the deficit. And I don't know whether that is going to get them. I think he just skimmed across him again, unless he brushed it. No, he hasn't, and he'll have another go. Let's have a look from this end. Well, he's going to get them this time. He needs to stick to that. Well, that second red's got a hit, and I think Matt can't see enough of anything to pot anything, can he? Yes, he can. He can just get to that one. Bit of pressure here. Matt's trailing by 9 and 10, and he's hung the red, and that's end of frame. I would say, even though it's only a 10-point lead, these two reds are very adjacent, and Semi just stun this in. So the lead now is 19-26 with the black. So just the red and a colour to give Semi his 14th frame on the board, and it'll be 14 frames to 10. Now I'm just typing to tell them how to save this game. So Matt's snookered. I don't know whether that's going to get there. Oh, he's got the spin working. He's got the right hand side in the cue ball. Well, I'm sure Semipro will be happy with the way he's played tonight as well, because all that silliness he was doing last week, he was doing far too much silliness, and he's wound it in, and he's played far more sensibly, as I told him I expected him to be, and I can't argue he's got the result for it. He's got his high run for the match, almost at a second century, and he's been very solid and put the pressure on Matt. So there's 27 on the table. The lead is, 31? No, 29, is it? Again, my brain's half cooked. Well, this green and brown are sitting handy. The only problem is it's Semi-Pro coming to the table. And Matt will be in trouble, at least he should be in a minute. And he's got the little bounce off the bottom cushion. And that's got Matt in lots of trouble. Now, he can certainly masse around the green and get to the cushion, and the spin, well, he's trying to get it without the masse. He needed to jack up. And the cue ball's caught that middle knuckle. Well, it's left an awkward little cut for Semi, but if he gets this will just solidify this frame. Used all of the pocket. Well, so now it's a 34-point lead with 25 in the table, and the green going close to the corner pocket. So these balls are lined up for snookers here, but Matt's going to have to get more than one to try and rescue this frame. And again, Matt will be in trouble because Semi will send this green back towards us on the left-hand side and check the cue ball with a bit of left-hand side to try and maybe hold it behind the black. And that's killed it, and that is perfect. And that has got Matt in all sorts of bother, to the extent that he might have had enough. Right, so the end of the session has Semi-Pro having won the session by 6 frames to 2, and he has now got 14 frames to 10 lead. I think Matt has saved the game, I presume he has. But that is it, folks. We don't know when this final session will be played between these guys because, as I say, there are things on for Semi-Pro. I no doubt I'll get an update at some point. So it's a 14-10 lead to Semi-Pro. He played much, much better tonight. Much more the standard I thought he would be playing at. And he's gained the rewards because of it. So, until we meet again, take care, stay safe, and bid you good night or good evening to Dwight. I never saw you there. Right. So off we go. And I'm just telling Semi-Pro that I don't know because Matt's left the room and Semi's asking if it worked. I think Matt must have saved it because I got a pop-up saying please wait, and Matt's left. He would have had a different message. He would have had an option to save or quit, and I think he saved it. Right, so I'm just bidding Semi a good evening. Well, there's no point in saving it now because you can't save it without without Matt. I'll leave the room. Right, so that is it. I'll see you again soon, folks. Hopefully for another. Oh, Matt, did you save it? Is Matt still in the chat, in the stream? I don't know. Did it give you the option to save it if you're still there? Perhaps not. Because I think Matt's left VP4, so I can't ask him in VP4. But anyway, that was the match that was on this afternoon, the one with Matt and Slim. I think well done to Matt because he had a tough match this afternoon against Slim to actually be playing that. Oh, you did save it, so well. As I say, I don't know when Semi's going to be available again, but that's how it works. As long as one kills the game, you'll always have the option to save it. So you're all good to go. Right, so good night, chaps, and we'll see you again soon.
Good night, ladies.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
Where's the cue ball going?
The trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.